Good evening and welcome to Credit Talk. My name is Todd Stern. This is a live credit call-in show every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Our call-in number is 312-738-1060. Okay, so let's get to work. We are so lucky and fortunate tonight to have a good friend, Dennis Thompson, with us tonight. Dennis I've known for, 10 years or more. He is with a major car dealership in the suburbs of Chicago, and he is an expert when it comes to vehicles and purchasing and what to do and stuff. So if you have questions about purchasing cars and financing, give us a call at 312-738-1060. We're also streaming live on FaceTime, so I see there's a couple people on there already. Make sure you ask some questions right now, and we'll get you on. So, Dennis, tell us a little bit. So, tell us how long you've been in the business now.
So it's been about almost 10 years. Started somewhere in the middle of 2009.
And what do you do for the dealership?
I'm actually a sales consultant.
Okay. And so if I want to come buy a car, I talk to you, right?
Absolutely.
Not the mechanic.
No, I'm the smiling face you see when you walk in.
Exactly. And I have been in Dennis's store, and they do a great job and very professional, and highly recommend. So I got some questions to ask you, and I got some slides so we can educate our viewers out there about how to purchase a car, because how many times do you really go and purchase a car? It's not like buying lunch. You buy lunch every day. You're not buying a car every single day. So this could be, every 2 years, 3 years, or sometimes 10 years.
Right.
And you really need to be an educated buyer when you go in and know exactly what you're talking about. So, okay. How to buy a car. So, Dennis, where do you start? Do I look in the newspaper, the internet, ask a friend? What do you think?
Today, the internet is actually one of the best sources for information regarding new and used cars.
Okay, and I agree with him, because the nice thing is that you can shop different dealerships, and there's a major website out there that kind of all the dealers put their cars on there, and you can look and you can find, instead of running around from dealership to dealership looking for that, red car, special one that you want, you can go online and kind of look ahead of time, which is nice. Right. Or if you know a certain dealership, go on there, go on Google, and get the dealership and look at their inventory. You guys keep your inventory online, right?
We do, and it's pretty up to date. We make sure that pricing and mileage and year and age and equipment is always up to date for our customers to make sure they get the right information always.
That is important, because I've shopped cars and I've called and I've said, okay, I'm looking for this car. Oh, it's gone. Well, why is it still on the internet? We sold it 2 weeks ago. Well, why do you still have it on the internet? And just person hasn't changed it. So a couple more questions. So Dennis, which one do you do first? Do I test drive the car, or do I go to the finance person and say, hey, can I get a loan? What do you recommend?
I recommend, depending upon how well you know where your credit stands,
yes,
that's where you know
important.
If you should start with a finance person discussing terms, interest rate, credit, stuff like that. But if you know that you're in a good standing, start by finding the right car.
That's exactly. If you're not sure, and what we've told everybody on this show before is, check your credit at least once to twice a year, because we get people calling us at the center all the time basically saying that, oh my gosh, somebody pulled my credit and there was this collection or a charge off through, Citibank. I've never had a Citibank card. What do I do? So you don't want to go and meet with Dennis and you're ready to get that car, and all of a sudden this pops up on your credit, because unfortunately you're not going to be able to fix that situation at the dealership, and that's going to affect the score. And the problem is, I can tell you all day long that that's not my account when I'm at the dealership, and you understand, but the score is what the score, and that's what your banks are looking at, I would imagine, is
very true.
Is the score. So that's excellent point. Do your work ahead of time. Look at your credit. See what your score is. If it's good, then feel confident and go and do that test drive, which is a lot of fun too. I enjoy it. So here's the question, what do I do? Do I buy new or used? Do I buy a brand new shiny truck or a gently used VW Bug, which is a lovely car, by the way? What are your thoughts on new? And then I always see, these dealerships certified. What does that mean?
Absolutely. A used car is not a certified car. A certified car is something that's provided by the manufacturer, so if you're looking into a slightly pre-owned, it's always a great thing to consider a certified pre-owned, which was inspected by the manufacturer and provides a warranty from the manufacturer that is a certified warranty.
Actually, this was several years ago. I actually had, we're not mentioning names, but I did purchase a car from your dealership, and it was a certified car. And the nice thing about it was they did extend the warranty on it.
Absolutely.
I knew because it was certified that it wasn't in any major wrecks. And I imagine the tires have to be a certain, caliber. There's got to be a certain tread left on it, which, listen, tires aren't cheap. They can easily run you $200 a piece, and times 4 or more, and that's especially depending on what kind of car you get. A high-end car, and they're higher than that. So it's nice to get a car that has some tread. What? Okay, so that's that. But what about buying a new car? Should I buy a new car, lease a car? What a guy like me, I like to switch cars a lot. 2, 3 years.
Yeah, you're probably most likely should be in a lease. New cars, that's the benefit of it. You can either purchase it or lease it, depending upon what your driving habits are. If you drive a lot, you probably should be purchasing a car because you're going to put more miles on it than the manufacturer wants you to when they lease it to you. But if you are into, not driving so much, a lease is a great way to go, short term.
So if I drive 30,000 miles a year, I'm traveling around selling, my goods or whatever. Is a lease good for me?
A lease is good. You're actually a perfect lease.
At 30,000 miles a year?
30,000 miles a year?
No, I don't think so.
Probably not. Actually, if you're doing 30,000 miles a year, you should probably be buying something with a very long warranty.
Right, I would agree. The lease, how many miles do they allow per year?
It depends on the manufacturers. The longest you can do, I believe, or the most is about 18,000 miles a year.
Okay, and I've seen them. I see it, and one thing too, you got to read when they in the newspaper. I see this all the time. People call me, "Oh, I can get that car for $328 a month," but they don't read the fine print, which is very important. They call it a cap reduction, which is basically a down payment, and usually that lease number does not include the taxes. Explain to me, our viewing audience, now, what happened with the taxes? Because I do lease my vehicles, and years ago, you paid the tax on the full amount of the purchase. Now, how did they change it?
So the state of Illinois actually went to what is called the leasing tax on the total amount payment of what you're leasing the car for, not on the full amount of the car.
I like that much better.
It is.
Now, right, so instead of paying, if you're buying a super expensive car, and you to lease it, you're going to spend about a third of that. You're only taxed on that, which is much better than that. Now there's pros and cons. Now I know that they did take the tax credit away. So if I had a used car or a used lease, they used to take that and kind of knock the tax down. So, but I think in general it's better. It's a usage tax, which I like. I know Michigan was doing it way before we were. But yeah, again, don't get fooled with the newspaper ones, because the reason they do that, and which I was told through another car dealership, because they don't know where you live. If you live in the city of Chicago, it's much more expensive to lease.
It's a broad advertisement,
Right.
So they have to attract everybody. They don't know where everybody lives, so it's a generic brand of what the advertised payment should be.
Exactly. Again, this is a live call-in show. Call with your questions, 312-738-1060. And I have another question for you, Dennis. Extended warranty, yes or no? You tell me. What are your thoughts?
Well, just like you were saying, if you're that 30,000 miles a year guy who's doing the sales and driving around, you're going to be going through the extended warranties, which nowadays are no more than 3 years or right around 36,000 miles for manufacturer's warranty. So if you're that guy driving that much, you'll probably go out with it within the first year. So extended warranties are for the people who do drive a lot.
A guy that I know at the gym who has a high-end car, it was telling me where it's one of these cars where you grab the handle and it opens up automatically, but it wasn't working properly, and it was in the shop for a while and everything, and it was under warranty, but he said the guy told him that if he had to pay for it, it would have been somewhere around $3,000 to fix. So, and the cost of a warranty, some people, it always blows me away when I hear that they buy these high-end used cars. Well, the warranty was $4,000. I didn't want to spend the money. But meanwhile, when that car breaks in the hydraulic system, and they tell you it's $8,000 to fix, a friend of mine had a Porsche, and he bought the extended warranty, and the transmission went out after like a couple months, and the new transmission was like $13,000 or $14,000. But he did have that extended warranty, so it was covered. So it's definitely really, really important to do that. We kind of touched base on this a little bit, but again, do I want to pay cash or take a loan on the car? What are your thoughts about that?
Well, interest rates right now are relatively decent. I mean, if the bank is offering you something very low and very strong, it's better to use the bank's money for compared to something that's a liability, like a car.
Right.
It's not something that's going to bring you money. It's something that's going to most likely depreciate because they are depreciating assets.
Right.
So using the bank's money instead of your own money, like paying cash for the car, is actually much better.
And I agree 100%, especially right now with the way our market is, the stock market. You're going to make a lot more money than the 3-4% that the bank might charge. So let's go to our first call. Hello, caller. Hello, caller.
Hi, how are you?
Good, and you?
Good, good. How are you?
Good.
I had a question for you guys regarding extended warranties and, how much should I be paying? Should I be buying them on a new car? Are they worth it? Just want some insight on extended warranties, please.
Okay, well, that's a question that we were actually just talking about. And Dennis, you want to touch base a little bit more? It depends. How old's the car that you're going to buy? Do you know? Or you're just
It's. I'm looking at a Mercedes-Benz Sprinter, and it's for work, so I'm going to be putting a lot of miles on it. It's got that diesel engine. And I'm thinking of getting a extended warranty for it. I don't know if it's worth it or not. The previous Mercedes that I had it was garbage, had so many issues. So going to splurge to get a new one, just wondering if I should bite the bullet and get a more expensive warranty on top of the new car price.
Absolutely, yeah. When it comes to something like that, especially if you're investing in for it sounds like you're driving a Sprinter, it's most likely for a business. So that's something that you're going to need to last you a long time. You don't want to be wasting time and money when the car is in the service shop because it needs some type of major repair and being in a situation where you're coming out of pocket with it. So absolutely, when you are going to purchase that new car, make sure you discuss with your finance advisor about, or your financial manager at that time, with what would be the best option and what type of warranty works for you.
That was awesome. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me ask you a question. So when you finance the car, and can I finance an extended warranty into the purchase as well? Can you do that? Or do I have to
Absolutely.
cut a check right there?
No, absolutely. What the finance manager can do is run the options of what the terms are for what you're financing, add the additional warranty, discuss with the bank if they'll allow, based off of your credit standard or your credit score, if the bank will allow an additional extended warranty. 9 out of 10 times they will, because the bank, knowing that the car is going to be financed for 5, maybe 6 years, will probably be looking to making sure that the car, if needs to be repaired and is sitting in a shop, it will be covered.
That makes perfect sense. Now, this is a little trick question. If I lease a car, should I get an extended warranty?
Typical leases are covered under the term of the lease. So I don't think an extended warranty is required or shouldn't be required under that term.
Absolutely, I would agree 100% on that one. And another nice thing, what I like, do you like leasing?
I do like leasing, actually. I've been in the business now for about, like I was saying, 8 or 9 years. And I want to say the 80% or 90% of the cars that I've bought in the last couple of years have been leases. So they haven't been purchased, they've been leases, and I will continue to lease.
You know, one real benefit of having a lease is you don't have to wait in those long lines to get the smog test.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
Let's go to our next caller. Hello, caller.
Hi there. My question is about when you're shopping for a car, obviously you want to get a couple of options. So when you're going to different dealerships, how do you handle when they want to run your credit at all the different dealerships?
Good question, and we do see that a lot. I'm going to let you take that. I have my theories about it, but what do you suggest, Dennis? When you're going to 4 or 5 different dealerships, jumping around.
Well, when you're jumping in, when you're just shopping, you want to make sure that you let them know that you're not sure on which one you've decided yet. Your credit only should be run once you've decided on the car that you absolutely want to buy.
And you know what I tell people, again, do your homework ahead of time and know your credit situation. If you have dings on your credit and you have a low credit score, if you go to car dealership A and they turn you down, most likely B and C is going to turn you down as well. There are different type of programs out there. The subprime market,
Correct.
That's where it's a higher interest rate. Could be 9, 10%. I mean, I've seen some real bad ones, but where you pay a little bit higher interest. but they will put you in that loan. But what I always tell people, especially if you have good credit and you know ahead of time, what I do is when I go to the dealership, I tell them right off the bat, I don't give them any information because I know my credit's good. And then when they go to do the lease, I tell them, who you pulling the credit with? One person. I don't want 6 different places pulled. We see at the center several times where, these used car lots will send it out to 10 different places trying to get it bought. So, definitely be educated. And if you're just shopping for cars and not even looking ready to buy, don't give them your social security number. It's not that time. Wait till you're ready because they want to sell you a car, obviously, and that's a business you're in. But reputable dealerships like yourself, I'm not that worried about that. Right. It's the secondhand used car lots. There are some good ones out there, but just do your homework and know what it is. So we actually put this out on our Facebook, and we get tons of emails at the center because there's a lot of people that do watch this show that might not be around the TV or be able to call in with questions. So I take the emails and I bring them here, and we've got a boatload here, Dennis. So question, Scott from actually Highland Park writes, how do I get 0% financing? He sees that ad on TV all the time. 0% financing for Tier 1. What is that?
Well, Scott, just letting you know, 0% financing is most likely provided by that specific manufacturer that you're looking to purchase with. That's only going to be provided on a new car. It will never be, no bank will allow a 0% financing for a used vehicle or a certified vehicle either. The manufacturer, like if you have your Toyotas or your Chevys, those kind of stores, when they're trying to do a model year and let go of whatever they have left in stock, will typically offer a 0%. Now, turning it back over to Todd, they're going to have a strong credit score. Mm-hmm. Typically above 750, 760 from what the FICO score has to be in order to qualify for something of a 0%.
Yes, that's what Tier 1 is. It's super, super high credit scores, but that's why we tell everybody if you do have credit issues, get that stuff straightened out because, it's a pain going through, life, going everywhere and you're getting charged these huge rates. Just, get your credit straight and always, as we mentioned, keep your balances on your open credit cards below 30% of the credit limit. That is going to help huge. You might have a guy, I'm sure you guys see it all the time, a guy with low scores, and you're like, what the heck? You have no derogative information. And then you look at his 8 credit cards, and they're all maxed out. Some might even be over the limit. Yep. That's what the problem is. It's the high credit balances which will affect your scores. We asked that one. Okay. Jim in the city asked, he was put into a higher interest loan. Is there any possibility that he can get refinanced after he gets his credit cleaned up? Obviously, he was put in one of those loans. Right. What are your thoughts on that?
Refinancing based off of if you're already in a car, it's a lot tougher to do. No bank's going to take a kind of a risk on a car that's already been used and has a higher interest rate. You'll most likely have to do your best to pay down the loan as much as you can. And if you can't pay it down, look into possibly getting into something newer and trading the car in because you've probably proven yourself now that you've paid the car on time and you'll probably get a lower interest rate.
Right. And actually, Dennis stopped by the center before the show and we actually had somebody in there and we were kind of talking about that same situation. Yes, we were. So that's exactly what I mentioned is he needs to get his credit a little bit better and then you can go talk and kind of get out of your situation. Emily from Glenview sent a email asking us, do you have to be a certain age to buy a car? How old do you have to be?
18.
18. So 18. A 16-year-old cannot go in and buy a car?
Cannot. And most dealerships actually won't even allow you to test drive a car even at the age of 18, because depending upon their insurance policy, you might not be covered. So you might be able to purchase a car, but you have to be in a very serious position to buy it and bring someone with you that's maybe a little bit older that you can drive with.
That's interesting. I kind of wondered that myself. I really didn't know I know renting a car, you have to be, I don't know, what is 21? 25? 25? Yeah. Okay, so to purchase a car, you have to be at least 18. Well, that's good because, you're young and whatever, and, first of all, how are you going to get credit? Right. Even if he walks in with cash and you look at their driver's license to verify age and stuff like that?
Correct.
Interesting. Okay. And Olivia from Northbrook sent an email asking, if she bought a brand new Mercedes at a dealership out of state, can she bring it to a dealership in the Chicagoland area to cover the warranty work? Excellent question.
Absolutely. Any manufacturer will cover their warranty at any dealership nationwide. So if it's a Mercedes, you can bring it to your local Mercedes dealership here in the city. Or if it's a Toyota and you purchased it in Chicago, but you're on a vacation in California, you can service it there or get any warranty work done there.
I think that's a lot of people think that if you buy the car, where it's getting serviced, you have to buy it there or else they're not going to do it. Absolutely not. You guys want that service.
We do.
You know, and I even know that your dealership will give a loaner to somebody that has, if they have your type of car and they're bringing it for service, they'll give them a loaner for that. So the dealers are more than happy to service the car. That's what they want as well. And they're super nice about it. They're not going to give you a hard time because you bought it somewhere else. We answered that question. Oh, here's a... So Pam, actually from Glenview, wrote in, this is a kind of a funny question, what is the most popular color of a car?
Well, if you're looking to get pulled over by the police, Pam, it's going to be a red one. But one of the most popular and probably most resale value in a car is most likely like your dark colors, like a black or a navy blue, something like that. It's easier to resell. A lot of people are, like a darker color. Your whites, your silvers are more selective people that want something that's a little bit more bright. But a black car or a dark navy blue car will probably have the best resale and most sought out color.
Does the color mean something about the person? Is a white car like an aggressive person or a smarter person?
You know what, Todd? Whatever color they want, that's the color they
See,
get.
I like white. As you know, I would drive white because, and this just happened to me not that long ago. I was driving down, coming from somewhere, and this guy in a fancy car wasn't paying attention and darn near ran me off the road. Oh my gosh!
What color was that car?
I think it was dark.
Maybe he was just more aggressive than
you. He was really. And the funny thing was, I saw his light flashing in his mirror, so I knew that he saw me, but he wasn't paying attention. He was texting or something on the phone. It was them kids, I'll tell you. But I laid on my horn and I gave him one of these, But he waved. So you got to be always watching too, and no texting while driving. No. Really important. So we did definitely cover a lot of bases, I think number one thing, first thing before, if you're going to finance that car, is check your credit. Just be smart about it, Even when you're going to buy a house, mortgages and stuff, before they pull your credit, because what they do, every time somebody pulls your credit, they put an inquiry on your report. And if you have, what we say at the center, more than 4, that starts getting kind of in the ugly zone. An inquiry is going to be worth 2 to 3 points. There's also 3 types of inquiries. There's the one when you go in to acquire credit. There's a promotional inquiry, which does not hurt your credit. That's when you get all those solicitations in the mail. That's going to tell you, what a credit card company says, hey, we want people to score 700 or more. That's how they do it. And then there's one where the banks who you have, they review your credit and they get a report as well. So the only type of inquiry that hurts is the one when you're looking to purchase a car. What are your make a purchase? What are your thoughts about if I go online? Now with the internet, it's a different world. I see a car that is in Ohio. What do I need to look at? And you probably get people out of state all the time that want to buy cars from out of state. So what's a good? How do I know I'm not looking at this car? I'm not driving this car. What are the questions to ask the dealer when you call them up about that car? What do you want to know?
We deal with this a lot. A lot of out-of-state customers call in asking about a specific car that's on our showroom floor. What I do recommend to the out-of-state customer, obviously I do take a lot of pictures. I do a good description on what the car looks like and how it drives. But there are third-party inspectors that do this exactly for this particular purpose, to give people an additional peace of mind that there is something that can protect them, and it's not very expensive.
That's which I have heard. I have never bought a car out of state, but yes, there are third-party companies that will come inspect the cars for you, which is definitely, it's worth the money.
Absolutely.
When you buy a house, you have a home inspector, and you're buying a car, which is a very, very expensive item, and you don't want to get this car, and then the steering wheel is totally off, or the electronics don't work, and it just becomes a nightmare. So We do want to thank Dennis. Thank you so much for being on our show
Absolutely.
tonight.
Thank you for having me.
And I know there were a couple calls that didn't quite get on because we had so many emails and stuff. If you have any questions or want to get a hold of Dennis, give us a call at the center. We'll put you in touch. It was a great show. And one thing I do want to say, get the car you want, but be smart about it. Don't get a car that's too expensive and you can't afford. Make it in your price range. Make the payments affordable and do your homework. So next Tuesday night, we'll be back here 6 p.m. Again, thank you so much for being on our show and have a great week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.